3, 2, 1. From my point of view, Nefarious Reels is evil. Hey everyone, we're Nefarious Reels.
Well,
Uh,
then you are lost. Sorry, I want to add that on.
that's fair. But I'm Jedi,
And I'm Cole.
and that was Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, which is connected to both the movies because Star Wars Holiday Special, and the main actor guy,
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen, plays Anakin. He's in Outcast. He's our lead.
Hell yeah.
Full circle. I didn't pull that out of my ass.
Universe connected confirmed.
Yep. But yeah, we talk about bad movies. We watched 2 of them for this episode. The first one we did was the retro pick, which was mine, which is, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
One of the most infamous movies that George Lucas does not like to be reminded of.
Well,
And he made the prequels.
yeah, well, George Lucas didn't really have much to do with the creation of
Fair
the
enough.
Holiday Special. The people who actually made that film were I fucking bring up my letterbox page, piece of shit. It was Steve Binder, or
Yep.
Steve Binder, who's mostly known for making like music related things.
Okay.
And
Well, that would make sense with some of the musical numbers it has at
and
times.
David Akomba, who hasn't worked on anything else other than this, really, of note. But the Star Wars special, the Star Wars Holiday Special, let me be official with it here, is basically
Yes.
it's Life Day, and Han is bringing Chewbacca to his family to celebrate it, but the Empire happens to be around, and they have to avoid him, so it looks like Chewie's gonna be late for Life Day. And then we follow Chewbacca's family, which consists of Mala, I think that's her name.
His wife, I
his
think.
wife Mala, his father Itchy, and his son Lumpy. Because why think of any alien sounding names? Like,
No, why just...
I understand that everyone calls him Chewie, but that's not his name. That's his nickname. His name's Chewbacca.
Yes. But everyone just calls him Chewie for short because it's easier.
But yeah, so it's basically his family, and we're kind of following them as they wait for Chewie to come home, where we get some other short segments to intersperse between those. And also, the Empire shows up at one point, and things happen. So,
And Boba Fett in a cartoon.
But we're going to talk about those segments later.
Okay.
So, Cole, what did you think of the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Super boring.
Okay.
I remember watching it, what was that, Christmas like 3 years ago, I would say. We watched it then because we found a DVD of it at my state fair. So we watched that a couple months later. It was my dad, my sister, and I. We were super bored. And I had the same feelings, just bored. It was kind of unbearable to watch at times. I did not have a fun time watching it. Granted, I was also watching it like 2 a.m. also, so.
Yeah, maybe if you went to bed and then watched it in the morning, you would have enjoyed it more.
Maybe not. I don't know. I still have the same thoughts as I did before.
Yeah, there isn't, I think, too much to say, because a lot of things happen, but also not a lot of stuff. So we can probably just break it into... Should we talk about all the segments first, and then talk about the whole overarching story? Or do you want to talk about the whole story of, like, the Chewie's family first, and then talk about each, like, segment?
Whatever floats your boat more.
Or do you want to talk about this all chronologically and try to remember when everything happened?
Oh, boy.
Well, let's start with probably the least interesting aspect, which is kind of our overarching story of the Chewie family. So, as we explained, there's the wife Mala, you got the father Itchy, and then the son Lumpy. 2 out of 3 of them are pretty nightmare fuel.
Well, and Itchy's got like this huge underbite almost, where his like the middle part of his lower lip like goes over the top part.
It's like a knockoff like Donkey Kong cartoon character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know some people find Lumpy creepy looking, but I think Itchy is like way worse. It's just the fact that I feel like Lumpy's kind of like the face of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Probably. I mean, it's also like a Lumpy's more easier to look at than Itchy. Itchy is very much nightmare fuel.
That is true. But Lumpy's more annoying though.
Lumpy's more annoying, and I also just love when like you see them communicating and like you have no idea what they're saying. Like there's no subtitles whatsoever.
Oh, interesting fact now that you mention it,
I would say.
as I said last episode, I owned like a Blu-ray copy that someone made.
Yeah.
And they actually went out of their way to make subtitles for it.
Oh.
But I didn't
okay.
watch that version. I decided to stay pure to the original. Like, I'm not here to watch, like, the fan rendition. I'm here to watch it, like, the full uncut narration
like,
as it's meant to be watched.
The TV special?
Yeah.
From 1978?
I watched the director's cut, which is the regular cut. Yeah, the whole main Chewbacca thing is really boring because it's basically they walk around, they be sad, they look at things like they're like hologram thing, or they watch like a show. They're just preparing for Life Day pretty much, waiting for Chewbacca. And they'll also occasionally call up Luke, who's trying to fix up a thing, is like, oh, Han and Chewie aren't there yet? Oh, something must have happened. Oh, but they'll be there. Come on, Mala, let's see that smile.
God, like even the main three actors, they all look like they don't want to be there really. So they're just like hamming up their performances.
Well,
mostly Han and Luke.
Like Luke, definitely. Leia looks, she's like zonked out of her mind.
And then Han's just like, meh.
Well, Han's the most fun because he doesn't sound like looks like he really gives a shit. Like you can feel like the amount of money he was given on the paycheck by his performance. Not that much.
No.
I just want to note the set for when they're on the Millennium Falcon felt like super cheap.
Oh yeah, it did.
Like if it felt like if Ed Wood had like a budget for the cockpit in Plan 9.
And then also when they're getting chased by the Imperial starships, I guess. And then you see like the TIE fighters, they're literally using clips and shots from like the original from the movie the year before.
Well, I mean, I was expecting that.
Millennium Falcon gun like blowing up a couple ships here and there. Like they'll reuse the same shot again.
I thought it was weird they had the whole like Imperial like Starfleet ships, the big ones, going after this small ship.
Yep.
Like I was expecting it would be like the TIE fighters, like they ran into like a scouting like thing or something.
Like a scouting team.
I guess in a sense
these
that
entire ships.
Well, I mean, but now that I think about it, this takes place after the first film. And, Han Solo was a big part of helping Leia escape and helping Luke blow up the Death Star. So maybe that's why the big shifts are after the Millennium Falcon.
That kind of does make sense a little bit later, too. But I'll explain that later when the house gets infiltrated by Imperial officers.
Well, it doesn't get infiltrated. They basically just show
seizure.
up. Yeah.
And they're going through a search and seizure with no warrant.
Well, they're the Empire. They can do whatever they want.
That is true. And then they'll do like that line where it's like, my face is my warrant.
Exactly. But basically, they come in contact with that, and they also come in contact with Leia behind a secret TV, a secret communicator they have hidden behind a shelf that you can just push aside. They also come in contact to Leia, as mentioned, who looks like she's on drugs, which I think she technically was, at least at that time, like addicted to drugs, I think. I could be wrong. This is secondhand information I heard a while back.
Okay.
But basically it's the same thing. Oh, I want to see Han and Chewie. Oh, they're not there yet. Well, I'm sure they'll be here soon.
And that was like, yeah, the answer for each of them. It was just, wait, they're not there? Oh yeah, they'll be there soon. Don't worry. You know Chewie.
You know Chewie and Han always going out on some adventure.
And getting chased by the entire Imperial Starfleet.
Then Art Carney shows up as a celebrity cameo, which there are a number of. Most famous for being in Last Action Hero and The Muppets Take Manhattan, and also Firestarter. I mean, I've only seen one of those movies.
Wait, which Firestarter? The remake one?
The original.
The original one? Okay. I've only seen Last Action Hero.
It says here he's an Academy Award-winning American actor, so, he's got, like, He's got talent on his side. Doesn't say for what he won for.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, I don't know. Probably if I looked into it more, I could. But we're not talking about Art Carney. We're talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special.
But we're talking about Art Carney in the holiday special, though. So
yeah, but he shows up and he gives itchy porn.
Yeah, some weird softcore porn video,
which we'll get into. But
Do we
then,
need to, though?
The Imperial Empire people show up because they're doing a search for any rebel scum.
Because they want to check and see if
they're hiding
Chewbacca
anyone.
is related to the Alliance in some way.
In their search, they do come across learning that there is 2 males, a female, and a child. Of course, Art goes, oh, well, you know, the...
Where's the other male adult?
The male, they got an argument with the missus. They ran out. And so, as they search around, they kick Art out of the house. But they eventually get a call about how they need to go return back to base immediately. So all of them except for one, they leave one stormtrooper behind to make sure that to see if the male that comes back is actually a rebel scum.
You rebel scum.
Where we learned there was actually Lumpy messing around with a transponder thing that is referenced in another live action bit, which we'll cover later. And we learned this because the stormtrooper goes up and sees it, but luckily Han and Chewie show up, and they manage to defeat the stormtrooper by making him fall off the balcony. And I guess it should be noted that they live the
Wookiees?
The Wookiees, yes. The Wookiees live up in the treetops. So when the stormtrooper falls, it's to his fucking death.
Basically. Well, the stormtroopers usually have been bumbling idiots, so this is kind of reasonable for them.
They fall to their death.
They don't know how to shoot. They don't have good coordination balance.
In fairness, that guardrail should have caught him.
Yeah, it should have, but
it was a shit guardrail.
And like I said, the stormtroopers are dumb. They seem to not know how to do anything right.
They're doing their best, Cole. Don't shit on them.
I'm going to shit on them all I want.
Yeah, you would like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, this is America.
No, this is the Empire, baby.
I thought this was America.
I couldn't think. Okay. I'm sure I was supposed to respond with like an appropriate line, but I couldn't think of it. Sorry.
All right, back to the special.
Yeah, but after that, Chewie meets up with his family for a minute, and then they don robes and like walk through space to like a tree of life where Leia and Luke are there, and then Leia sings, has a speech about life and stuff, and then she sings a weird song with her dead-eye, 1,000-yard stare.
Looking, again, super incredibly awkward.
And then the Star Wars theme plays out, and then boom. End credits.
Yay.
Is what you would think would be, but unfortunately for us, we have like 8 live-action segments to talk about, because this thing isn't just a regular holiday special. This thing's got a bunch of little side stories going on with these live-action bits. And luckily for us, I written all the ones down, or at least all the ones that don't properly progress the story. I didn't count the
ones that like don't include the Life Day stories.
Basically, nothing that involves us checking in with Han and Chewie, or the Luke and Leia stuff. That stuff didn't count because that wasn't for progressing the story, or because that was kind of for progressing the story. There is one exception I have on there, but that's because another thing was happening during the forward progression of the story.
Okay.
So, we'll go over them in alphabetical order.
Alphabetical?
I mean, chronological order. I'm sorry. Alphabetical comes before chronological.
I was a little confused on what you were saying there. Okay, chronological. Got it.
So I have listed 8 things. That's how many I remembered. I think I have them all in chronological order. I might have 1 or 2 of them mixed up. But our first one is the acrobatic scene.
Oh my god.
Itchy gives Lumpy a little cassette tape that plays this weird acrobatic performance thing.
Like a virtual circus show, or
It was...
Like, what the hell was that?
It was goofy.
kept going on forever.
It wasn't that long. It was like 5 minutes. At least it was slightly entertaining. I was mightily amused with it.
Honestly, I think this movie would have been much better if you were like high. Because I think that sequence, watching that sequence high, that might be some kind of interesting experience, I would say.
That seems like a theme. I think every time a movie's really bad, you go like, oh, you should watch this high or drunk or everything.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be a very common trope you're going to see.
This is your descent into addiction, this whole podcast. Later on, it's like, you're going to be like, yeah, weed's not enough, so I started taking, like, hard LSD when we watched fucking Anal Blasters 97 Part 2. Next episode after that, it's going to be, like, your intervention episode.
The intervention. Yeah, we're not actually talking about the movies, it's just my intervention and get me into rehab.
Cole, please, we care about you. I care about you. Because if you're too busy stoned, how the hell am I going to do the podcast?
Don't worry, I'm not Ralph.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I know you got your secret Jenkum drawer.
Jenkum drawer.
But the acrobatic scene, I find it mildly amusing. I mean, there's not much to say. It's just a bunch of people doing goofy little acrobats, doing flips.
Acrobats, some guys like playing a trumpet horn.
Next, we have the traitor scene, which is the one exception I had, because that has, once again, our boy Art. He shows up there. He's basically like a merchant, and he's trying
he's like running some kind of store, and some Imperial officer walks in.
Yeah, he's trying to buy something. He's like, hey, look at this. We got a mini aquarium. You can carry it around. And
I hate fish.
It's like, oh, yeah, I sell them the Wookiees just buy them all the time. Those fucking idiots.
Yeah, don't worry.
And he sells them a groomer that can shave, cook, clean, blow. I don't know. He listed a bunch of things. But while the Imperial Trooper is doing that, he comes in contact with Mala, and he basically does a fun little code thing where he's just like, oh, don't worry, your like shaggy carpet will be coming soon. It's she made it all by hand. Solo.
4 planets away.
4 planets away. She made them all by himself, by hand. Solo. She made them all by herself, so we'll call her Solo.
So her last name is Solo.
Yeah. First name Hand, last name Solo.
Hand Solo.
Hand Solo.
Nice. Good one.
That was your mom's nickname in college. Ayo, got him.
Jesus. Wow.
Oh, nothing but net, baby.
One, didn't I?
It was a very epic. Our next segment was the cooking show, where
with the Julia Childs ripoff.
Yeah, performed by a dude who I think shows up again in a later iteration. Let me see. Who is it? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Harvey Korman.
Harvey. Okay, yeah.
He was famous for being in Blazing Saddles, Jingle All the Way, the Flintstones movie. He's in a lot of comedy stuff, actually. He was in the Mel Brooks History of the World Part 1.
Okay.
Oh, he was in Munchies.
Munchies?
That's what it's called.
Huh. How does this always go back to, like, talk about, like, being high and stuff? Because Munchies always relates to that, too.
Oh, he was also in the sequel, The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas.
Oh my God.
He was in everything.
I keep forgetting about those live-action Flintstone movies.
He's in all the classics. But his bit is pretty much he's on a cooking show, and it's basically a dude in drag, which I didn't instantly. The funniest parts for me is when it's revealed that he has 4 arms, because that's just a guy behind him with, like, no coordination. So he's trying to do the ladle, he's just like, and rubbing it in his face.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Stir, whisk, stir, whisk,
stir, whisk, mash.
Stir, whisk, mash, mash, mash.
No, we're doing it. Gotta go faster now. Stir, whisk, mash, stir, mash.
We gotta make the broth as good as possible.
I also like when he brings up, like, the slab of meat, and he just fucking drops it, and it just splats on the ground. Or on the cutting board.
Very tender part of the bantha.
Yep, that was goofy. Next up, we are at... we're already about to be halfway done. So next up is when Art shows up to the house and gives Itchy porn. He's like
a VR softcore porn thing.
let's see. This one stars, I think, a musical performer. Let's see if we can find it. Not Art Conan, not RV. Yeah, here it is. Diane Carroll, who she's credited as the Mermea holographic wow on Letterboxd.
Nice.
What did she starred in? Well, that her most well-known role is Star Wars Holiday Special. She was also in Eve's Bayou, which got a Criterion recently.
Huh.
Which that's pretty neat. She was also in Mo Better Blues, which I think is directed by Spike Lee. Yep. So she's been in actual good things, but for some reason, Star Wars Holiday Special is her most recognizable performance, I guess.
Interesting.
Once again, racism wins. God damn it.
Boo racism.
Yeah, racism bad. We do not condone racism on this podcast.
Yeah.
It is really weird, and I did consider using the line of, I am your fantasy, as our intro beginning. But I decided
like that you went
against
with the prequel more. The prequel meme line more.
That was a lot more funny, and it did connect to our second film, which we'll talk about later. She has this singing performance, which is kind of trippy and weird. And, you know, this might just be me, but it kind of looked like she had cum hair.
Cum hair?
You know, it looks like it was like crystallized.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
It was really weird, but the music part was kind of weird and psychedelic. That's the part you should have been high, Cole.
Yeah.
It's a fun little goofy thing. Next up, we have the music video, which is by, I think it was like something Starship. I don't remember the band's name, but it had Starship in the title. They just perform a song, nothing to note. This is when basically the Empire busts into the home, and then Art's just like, hey, check out this thing over here. Let me turn it on for you. And then the Empire guy watches a music video.
Oh, yeah, that music video.
Yeah. I can kind of remember it. I can remember him sounding weird when he sung it, like in his style. I don't think the band's listed on here. Actually, maybe the crew. Maybe they're listed in like music. Probably not. There's sound and composer. I probably don't think that's really the band though. Let's just assume that it was John Gone Girl guy.
Jon Favreau's
Favreau Starship Band.
The Jon Favreau Richard Kelly Band.
Exactly.
Richard? Our sworn enemy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Release the fart cut, Richard.
Not much to say. Next up, we're on probably the best part of the whole special, which is the cartoon. Which, fun fact,
the most entertaining part.
Yeah. Fun fact, you can watch the cartoon on Disney Plus. So in a sense, Disney has acknowledged
the holiday
special.
Now,
where's
Disney
the Star Wars holiday special?
Thing.
Disney.
Yeah, Disney.
Fucking John probably had something to do with that. John? Richard.
Yeah, Richard Kelly has something to do with it too, obviously.
Richard Kelly is Jon Favreau. We just couldn't see it at the time.
But that's just a theory.
A gay theory. Thanks for watching.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
But the cartoon is the best part. Or at least one of them. It's one of the best parts for me, because there's a later one that I actually really enjoy. But in the cartoon, basically, Chewie and Han went to recover this medallion. But as they return, Chewbacca is the only one flying the Millennium. Han is being hung upside down. And the Millennium Falcon flies to a nearby planet. So Luke, C-3PO, and R2-D2 follow suit, where they ultimately crash land onto the planet because it's a weird water planet, kind of.
Like alien-esque water liquid planet.
It's kind of like that. The material's like you know that like stuff you might have made in like science class in like elementary school where it's like it's a liquid but also a solid.
Yeah, like
it was kind of like that.
Stuff.
They get attacked by a sea monster, but they get saved by a mysterious stranger known as Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
His first official appearance in Star Wars lore, which is actually kind of neat fact.
That is pretty cool.
Boba Fett saves them, and then they go to the Millennium Falcon, where Luke gets exposed to some thing. I don't remember what it is. It's something kind of dumb. It's like a sleep agent thing. But Boba Fett's
that one that affects... Yeah, it's like some virus or something.
Yeah, but luckily, Boba Fett knows what it is. It's something the Empire uses. So him and Chewie go to the city to get a cure that they sell there. But that's where we learn that Boba Fett comes in contact with Darth Vader. And this was their plan all along, to basically learn where the rebels are hiding. But luckily for them, for our hero, R2-D2 and C-3PO managed to intercept the transmission from the ship. So when Boba Fett returns and administers the cure to Luke and Han, C-3PO reveals that Boba Fett is working with Darth Vader, but Boba Fett escapes, and then our heroes just laugh it off as they return back to home base. You still there,
I was
buddy?
going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Okay.
I had something in my head, and then it just ran a complete blank, so...
Okay, because there is something interesting I want to note that I think is actually genuine quality, is how well Boba Fett manages to integrate himself with Luke, but how there are hints that Boba Fett is evil.
He's got bad intentions.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you should know is the first thing that he's able to garner Luke's trust is that he saves them from the monster, even though the big one isn't really doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's when Boba Fett introduces himself. Luke trusts Boba Fett because, Boba Fett saved us from the monster. He must be a good guy. But you can tell there's something that's more sinister about Boba Fett, because when Luke feeds the monster he's riding food, Boba Fett goes "You shouldn't starve for the sake of this lower creature." It's our first little, there's something more darker and sinister about Boba Fett than as he appears. And then later, Boba Fett also keeps constantly referring to Luke and Chewie as friend. It's kind of similar to when...
Here we go, friend.
Yeah, it's
we gotta go, friend. I got the serum.
Exactly. It's similar actually to, Bioshock. Remember, ever played Bioshock?
Would you kindly? Yep.
Yeah, would you kindly? It's like that. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Would you kindly?
He keeps referring to Luke as friend, and since Luke already kind of trusts Boba, that's kind of how he feels about him as well, as time passes, as a loyal ally. And even then, as it's revealed, that was the plan the whole time. In fact, the talisman itself might have been employed by the Empire to get Han to get sick, so Luke can come as well and get infected, to allow Boba Fett to establish more trust by getting the cure. In fact, think back to it.
More intel.
Another thing to note is that when they're escaping, Boba Fett does shoot at the stormtroopers, but misses, and I bet that was intentional.
That was definitely intentional, because if he's working with, Vader and all that, he definitely doesn't want to exactly...
he shoots to try to establish a sense of, I'm trying to fight these troopers, and then Chewbacca steals his gun and then kills all of them.
Yeah, he still wants them to know, hey, I'm fighting against the Empire like you guys, but I'm not going to still directly show that.
Exactly. And that is in itself, really kind of interesting in it. And it does kind of help elevate the, the special and the cartoon, even if the cartoon is kind of weirdly animated and the faces are all weird. But that's kind of charming in its own way, honestly.
Even you could say then, some of that is nightmare fuel too, with some of the faces look with Han's
long face.
His long face, and Luke's got these very bulging eyes.
I don't know. I find the cartoon charming in its animation, even if it's weird. But that might be a bit more of a product of its era, kind of. But yeah, cartoon overall pretty good.
6 out of 10.
If there's you might hate it, Cole, but you can't deny that cartoon slapped.
The cartoon is the best part, the only good part for me.
Next up, we go to the 7th thing, the instruction tape. Basically, Lumpy's room gets demolished as the Empire is searching for any signs of rebel activity or anything that can connect them to the rebels. And then Lumpy goes to a module thing that he wants to fix up, and then this instructional tape with a return of our chef person. I forgot his name already.
I just gonna say the Julia Childs ripoff.
Yeah. I'm fairly confident he's supposed to be an android in the instruction scene. That's why the video is all like weird and choppy. I think that's supposed to be, he's an android and he's supposed to teach you how to fix this thing, but he's malfunctioning. He's not working right. Though it felt more like to me like they were trying like in a sense like a bad YouTube poop. Like not enough dick jokes.
Yep.
There probably is a YouTube poop of that like section specifically, honestly.
There could be, honestly.
I'd have to look it up later. Because that's what it is, because clearly he's not, like, doing the movements himself. He's not doing the weird stuttering movements or anything.
Yep.
It's clearly, like, them editing, like, the tape they shot it with to make it, like, look like it's repeating. But it's edited in such a way, it feels like, oh, yeah, this is, like, an editing that you'd see in, like, an early YouTube poop. Not much to say for that one. And now we move on to the final segment, which is the Life on Tatooine, which has probably one of the funniest jokes in the entire special, where it's like Empire Mandatory View watching, which is like Life on Tatooine, and it's basically to watch this to see how worse off everywhere else is. It's basically just a segment to show you that, hey, other people are suffering. Your life is better than these people. Look.
Privilege.
Yeah, it's funny. I think
you're
it's
more
goofy.
privileged than these others.
We get another camera. We get B. Arthur, I think that's to pronounce her name.
Beatrice, but yeah, B. Arthur.
She's also in the Mel Brooks History of the World Part 1.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, while the cartoon might be the best segment, I think B was the best character in the entirety of the special. She's the bartender on Tatooine at the bar, not the famous one. At least I don't think so. She's there and basically...
that, like, cantina bar?
Yeah. She's there, she gets hit on. Harvey Corbin, that's who it is. He basically...
Oh, with that weird hairdo and the volcano look?
Yeah, that consumes, like, liquid. This is probably the best non-cartoon segment, because you get to see a plethora of aliens, even if they are just kind of just, oh, what we have in our costume department. And you get to see all these different aliens.
Yeah, and some of it is a little similar. I don't know why I'm repeating this again, but like obviously some of the designs are pretty similar to what you see in the original Star Wars. I kind of don't like calling it A New Hope for canon's sake, but I mean, at least you do get those cool designs of like all these different aliens you get in this universe and all that.
You get the song, you get the
and you get those guys.
But yeah,
which is funny. Oh, I'm just about to say, those musicians, they're called Jizz Wailers.
Yeah, I heard the music's called Jizz, which is great. This feels like one of the things is like, George, we're establishing the deeper lore of the universe. What should we call the theme music that those aliens are playing in the bar? And George's like, I don't fucking know, Jizz, whatever, get out of here.
Jizz.
And then it's stuck.
And then it's there.
It really got blown out of proportion.
I see what you did there.
George really shot his load on that one. Seaman.
He blew his load on that one.
But yeah, the alien Kelman, that's his name, comes with flowers and is like, I've been down my luck, I've lived so long, but those 6 words you say, come back soon, I'll be here. I think that's the 6 words. And she's basically like, oh, I'm not here for, like, romance. I'm just, like, a bartender. I'm trying to be polite about it. But eventually, she says it to another patron as they're leaving, and then he becomes a sad boy. But then the Empire imposes a curfew. Everyone has to go. So B tries to get everyone out, but they all refuse, even as she basically just begs them to leave. So I guess so she doesn't get in trouble.
And then she's just kind of like, nah, fuck it.
She gives up. She's like, fine, you win. I can take a hint. It's on the house.
Drinks all around.
And then we get another music segment, which I really, really like. You get a slower, more bittersweet rendition of the theme. The dun 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 dun. And B sings this really bittersweet song. that's really, really good. And it's sad. At least for me, it is. It's like when you're going away to like college, and it's like you're spending time with your friends like one last time before you're going, and it's like near the end of the time you can spend with them, and you know you have to go, but you're gonna maybe stay with them a little longer before you have to send them out. That just like bittersweetness of just, it's just a little bit more good times before we have to separate and go away.
One more time.
Yeah, I get it. Haha, yeah, I hate that song. I hate that in Interstellar 5555. But I'm kind of being serious here, really. It's
I just wanted to do that as a little joke.
Yeah, I know. My joke I was gonna make was like the song that Closing Time wished it was.
Closing time.
Closing time. Yep. One last call for alcohol, so please finish your whiskey or beer. But it is a really bittersweet song, and it's kind of sad. Especially when you do have to consider that, this curfew, while she's saying, oh, it's probably just temporary, we don't really know that. This could go on for a while. She might not get another customer again. It's a really bittersweet song, especially right at the end when she's closing and she's sending her employees out. And she's like, is that a tear, friend? As they all leave. And then at the very end, maybe in a touching way to end it, to uplift it a little more, or you can see it as really creepy, but Kelman, the person who hit her at the beginning, he stays behind to give her the roses one more time, which, as the video closes out, she ends up accepting, which is very sweet. Oh, also, there's a giant rat in the song part, which is great.
Oh, yeah. Yes, the giant rat.
I won't lie.
I totally forgot about that.
I'm a bit sad that we didn't get to see the rat leave. I just want to see like a rat like waddle out of like the bar. But that
might have been entertaining. You don't know.
That would have been funny, but they had no real way to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of all the segments that were there. Unless, are there any that I might have missed, Cole, or do I think I covered them all?
That's what all sounds right to me. Because I try to write down like everything else that happens too, but I think we got everything.
Before we move on to our next film, there is one more thing I want to do. I want us to rank every live action segment and cartoon from them. All 8 I listed. The acrobatics, the trader scene, the cooking show, the porn, the music video, the cartoon, the instruction tape, and the bar scene.
Cartoon's the best part for me.
We're gonna start. We're going
is a tie for second.
We're going bottom up, worst to best. Come on, Cole. Put some thought into this.
No,
we gotta patter our length of our podcast, Cole. Let's go.
Word. Oh boy.
I'll start first. I think the worst one for me to start off with will probably be the I think I'm going to give it to the instruction tape. I think that was probably the weakest bit out of all of these.
I'm honestly not sure what I'd rank last because I almost hated every sequence except for the cartoon, and that was it. I mean, come on. It was kind of unbearable to watch.
Come on, Cole, you gotta try.
Oh, God.
Just draw one out of like a hat and then just
fine, the instruction tapes.
I don't think you mean that. I think you should think more. I'm just messing with you. So
no, acrobat scene. Acrobat scene's the worst for me.
Acrobat's the worst for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, definitely the acrobat scene. Dragged on way too long.
My number 7 is, I think, gonna go to the music video, because it's just a music video of them standing around singing.
I'll agree with that, the music video, because it felt like there was no reason for it, really, other than just to add, like, another music scene, I guess. It just felt out of the blue.
Yeah. My number 6 is the trader. The trader scene, because there's not really much in there other than him saying lines and then Han Solo.
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
Han Solo. Maybe I'll do instructions then. I would say the instructions scene then for
My
6. Yep.
Okay, now to my number 5. I'm going to give it to the cooking show because it's got like 2 funny bits and that's it. It's all it's really got going for it.
I'll do my number 5 will be your number 6 is what your number 6 was.
Oh, the traitor.
Yep, the traitor.
All right, my number 4 will be acrobatics because I was mildly entertained by that.
Number 4 for me, I'll do the bar scene.
Okay, my number 3 is porn because that was weird. It was really weird.
It's a very weird sequence, especially for a like family. I'm assuming it's supposed to be like a family friendly kind of Star Wars special also.
Yeah, I mean that's what
And you
you
just
think,
got
but no.
porn.
This is for adults, Cole. This was specifically aimed for adults.
Yeah, okay.
Adults love lumpy, okay? That's just how it goes.
Uh-huh. Okay, number 3, I'll go the cooking show.
All right.
Because Stir Whisk is quite goofy.
My number 2, actually, I'm going to go for the cartoon. It's great. I love it, but it's only my number 2.
What?
Yeah.
All right, then number 2 is the porn for me.
Yeah. Oh, of course, you would rank the porn higher than me.
Yeah. Because I'm a filthy degenerate.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you recommended Nico Parra that one time.
Yeah, in film club.
Uh-huh. Made us all feel disgusting.
Airing out all our dirty laundry. Hold on. I'm sure you recommended garbage before, too. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, exactly. Veronica, you piece of shit. That's more horny than Nekapara is. Anyway, my number 1...
I think they're the same amount, but that's just me.
Disagreed. Well, for starters, you actually see boobs in Veronica.
Eyeball nipples.
There's a chick in a gimp soup at one point. Chicks bathing
Strippers.
in blood. Yeah. You're gonna say that Nekapara is equally as horny as freaking Veronica. Anyway, my number 1 is the bar scene because it's like I think it really succeeded at what it was trying to do emotionally wise, and I respect it for that, and that's why it's higher up. Like
Cartoon,
generally 100%. Yeah, obviously you're gonna do that. Anything you got left to add for a Star Wars Holiday Special, Cole?
Well, I was checking the IMDb trivia just to double check. And yes, George Lucas did try, but he failed to buy up all of the copies and make sure it was never broadcast again. Well, and unfortunately, it did not work.
I think we're lucky that it didn't work.
I think so too, because now we got this greatness.
Anyway, that's all we got for that. Cole, you did our modern pick. Please tell us about Outcast.
Yeah, so my modern pick was Outcast, which is directed by Nicholas Powell, and it stars 2 of the greatest actors of our modern time, Nicolas Cage and Hayden Christensen. And the plot summary is basically that Hayden Christensen used to be he was like a knight in medieval Europe.
A crusader.
Yeah, a crusader. And then a couple of years later, he goes out to described as the Far East. We don't know where exactly. It's probably like China. And he basically teams up with like the royalty, this daughter and son of this ailing king. And they're here to defeat basically their cruel older brother, who is this warrior master who is trying to basically kill them.
So he can take the throne instead.
Yes. And the brother, so Xing, who's the eldest of the 3, he's trying to kill both Zhao and Lian for, the right to the throne. After he overhears that Zhao is going to take over the throne, even though Xing is like seniority. He's like, I got seniority. I fought your wars, Dad. But Dad,
I'm supposed to be king.
And then he stabs him.
And he's like, oh my god, how can my younger brother do this?
Which is, I thought, even the more funny part, because his guys were there. Like, they knew he wasn't there, the younger brother, Zhao. But then they just believe his word. Well, probably because
I
he would
assumed
have
that
killed them
those were
if.
his troops
Yeah,
who probably would follow him to the end of the earth no matter what.
that too.
With the exception of that one guy who is like by the king's side, who is for some reason kind of important.
Yeah, kind of near the end, you could say.
Well, that's getting a bit ahead of
But
myself.
that's way ahead. But yeah, so the movie starts off basically with like a Crusader invasion in
Cole, you're
what?
supposed to ask me what I thought about the movie.
Oh, sorry. What did you think of the movie Ninja Jedi?
It was bad.
I think we can both agree on that it was bad.
I mean, it's kind of just. I don't want to let's say I don't want to get too far ahead. I would say that some things just don't deliver as I would hope it would, with what I feel like I was promised via
Okay.
the bare minimum info I knew of it.
I was a little disappointed that there was not as much Nicolas Cage in it, though. I was kind of mad about that.
He's only in it for like two sections, the beginning section and the end section.
Yeah, but we'll obviously get to that in a bit. But yeah, so now we'll get into how the movie goes. So yeah, it starts with, well, technically it starts off with Hayden Christensen. I literally refer to him in my whole notes as Anakin. I know that his name's Jacob, but I'm going to refer to him as Anakin the entire time just to keep up with the Star Wars discussion.
I'll call him Edward.
Edward.
But keep going. Keep explaining.
Yeah, but yes, he does like this little prayer before battle. He's got his sword in and he's like, help me in this invasion before we kill.
They go in and they start,
and then they invade
ass.
this like Middle East. I'm assuming it's like a Middle Eastern country they're going in, obviously, as they're crusading. And then he and Nick Cage have like this little, oh, how would you describe it? Like a
disagreement.
Yeah, disagreement, you could say. Like Anakin's like, hey, I like killing, and then Nick Cage is like, why are we killing for these hypocritical priests and not actually doing it for the sake of God or something or all that? But then Anakin's like, from my point of
from my point of view, it is these people that are evil.
Evil. And then Nick Cage goes, well, then you are lost.
It's like, then leave, but I have an oath to your father. Well, my father's dead, so get out of here.
Yeah, go to the Far East, Nick. But yeah, then after the invasion sequence happens,
we go to the Far East a few years later.
Which is, again, probably like ancient China, probably.
More than likely.
Yeah, so then we get this ailing king who is talking to both Zhao and Lian. And then he's like, obviously, I'm not in good health. My health is, declining, deteriorating. And Zhao, you're going to take the throne over your brother Xing.
We don't need wars anymore. We need peace.
We need the peace.
And you're too much of a loser to be a villain of a warrior, so you can be the peace guy. But, the brother does show up. Dun, dun, dun. So they have to skate through a back passage.
And led kind of by the king's men to get them on a horse out of there before Xing comes. And then Xing's talking to him, getting all throwing a huge hissy fit like, hey, I was supposed to take the throne,
I heard these
Dad.
rumors saying that you're not going to make me king.
I fought your wars, Dad. I should be king. I have the right.
But of course...
And they obviously get a little argument, and then he stabs them.
Yeah, he sends out his men and threatens the lone soldier by the king. He's like, if you don't do what I say, I'll kill your family. I'll kill your kids.
Kills your family.
Your wife will be molested by all my soldiers. So then he has to leave. So and basically, yeah, as you said, he kills him. And then he goes out and he goes, guys, my younger brother killed the king, and he also stole, like, the seal, which never really feels important at all, other than...
They never really explain what the seal was.
It feels like it's, like, the MacGuffin, so that way, no one will be by your side. So no one will, like, side with the young king.
The young king. Okay.
I'm guessing that's what it is.
Something to rile up these guys and get to his cause, basically.
I think that's what it is because I don't
That's
know.
what it does. That's what it did seem like.
Because I guess killing the king is like not as bad, I guess.
No, not as bad as wanting to kill these young children.
Yeah, but luckily they do manage to escape. But then their horse gets shot by an arrow, I guess, that we don't see. Or maybe it's implied it's when they were trying to escape it got shot, when they were getting attacked.
Yeah, but we see that like the day after. But yeah, then they go into this like little hut building where they're serving food. And guess who's there? Well, I guess we'll know later. Mr.
Spoiler,
Jedi.
it's Anakin Panikin.
It's not Master Skywalker. And he is very woozy looking. He looks drunk.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Shing soldiers come in and they're trying to find the prince and princess to kill and find out where the seal is.
Well, they do find and catch him, but that's when our main boy Edward shows up. Well, Edward gets up and then just starts beating the shit out of all of them.
Yeah, and he's like, I just want my sword back.
Well, he does.
After he gives it away to this guy for food and
it should be noted, very epically, our boy Jacob, he actually is able to do what our main bad guy from Hard Ticket to Hawaii could not do. Throw a sword into a guy's face.
With very good accuracy, like right in the eyeball, too. That was quite a throw.
It was really good, especially since the guy was hiding behind the prince who was threatening to kill him. But yeah, after Susie killing the guards, Jacob leaves. And then they're like, no, wait, let us come with you. We'll reward you handsomely with our bodies.
Yeah, with our bodies.
Well, no, just with money, unfortunately.
No, it was gold. Yeah, it eventually would be gold that they would give him. And then he's like, sure.
Whatevs. We get the whole spiel about, I'm going to be king one day, and I'm going to change everything. That's what he sounds like.
Awesome voice.
Get ready to hear that, because he says that every time he meets a new person.
Yeah, he was kind of annoying, I will say. Well, I mean, in a movie like this, how are you gonna expect the acting to be honest? But
that's true. But he gets kind of sidelined for the romance plot.
Mm-hmm.
With what's her face and Anakin.
Leanne, the sister.
Yeah, Leanne.
Yeah, that awkward little romance.
Especially since Jacob feels way older than her.
And she's probably still a minor.
She's probably supposed to be like 18, probably. I'm guessing, because she's the older sister and the prince is 14.
Yeah, he said he was 14.
When his parents built a very strange machine, it was designed to see a world unseen. So she's probably supposed to be 18, but it's still feels kind of weird because I'm pretty sure
very awkward.
Hayden Christensen's probably what is it, 40s now. Even canonically in the
Mid-30s,
movie, he
yeah.
looks like he's in his 30s. So it's really weird.
Yeah, and even when you look at that, there's no existing chemistry whatsoever. They're just kind of hey.
It's one of those, oh my god, you saved me. You're so hot.
It's almost kind of like how Anakin and Padme were in the prequels in their romance, where Padme's just with him no matter what, even though Anakin slaughtered an entire village of Tusken Raider men, women, and children. It's yeah, they killed your mom, but did you really have to kill the entire village?
Yes.
And then Padme's oh, Anakin, how sweet of you.
Oh, Anakin, you killed all those people. That's so hot. They find a burning village where we learned that the prince sucks at shooting arrows. So
he's almost as bad as stormtroopers in aim.
Exactly.
Terrible.
Why couldn't he tripped and fell off the balcony?
Yeah, why couldn't he fallen over that Kashyyyk balcony? Then the movie would have been over by then.
Yeah. Well, Jacob ends up saving a woman. But basically what happens, a girl is running away from the burning village and gets picked up by one of the soldiers.
Yeah, one of those.
Prince fails to shoot him with the arrow, so
and
Jacob
then Anakin with an amazing shot.
with a 360 no scope.
360 no scope with the intervention.
Managed to do
No,
it,
it's a
and
bow
then
and
we
arrow.
pick up our second useless character. I don't even remember her name.
Yeah, I don't either, and I don't bother looking.
Like, you could have removed her completely from the movie, and
it wouldn't have made a damn difference.
she's just there to be like, oh, the king's not gonna change anything. You're just gonna, cause no one cares for us. And then the prince goes, well, and I'm gonna be king. I'll make actual changes. And that's it. That's like the only thing I remember from her.
To be king.
That's the wrong song, but I
yeah,
don't
that was
care.
Little Mermaid.
Who cares? It's all the same. Disney music's all the same.
It is. John. But yeah, and then when they're getting over to this other city, they're trying to get to this other city, but they're like, Anakin takes them like on a shortcut because that's how they won't find any of these other soldiers and all that.
Because the soldiers would be looking at them at the place that they were originally going to go, to like a certain general that'll support them.
But Anakin pulls a pro gamer move and he hits like a flank route.
He's like, we're going to go a different path because they won't search for us over there.
Because they won't catch us that way.
They end up joining a caravan and pay off some lady to let them take part in it.
Because they need like protection, more protection, I guess.
They need to blend in.
And not get caught by the guards.
Which is fair enough. I mean, if you're looking for like, a prince and princess with their like escort guy, I mean, it's easier to spot them if there's just 3 of them out in the open.
They're going to look at like a sore thumb.
Yeah. But sticking with a caravan with a bunch of people, that's probably going to help them out.
And both Anakin and Leanne are doing a good job like covering their faces to not be spotted. But then Zhao's just naked. His face is just completely naked. No coverage whatsoever.
You don't understand. So he's going to be king.
But that's the problem.
You just don't get it, Cole.
I guess I don't. That he's just out in the open and then, oh yeah, he might be caught, but he doesn't care.
So in a shocking twist, they go into the city where basically Anakin gets drugged and they're going, and pretty much the girl that they let them through is pretty much gonna sell them out so that way they can get the money and all that.
They get betrayed.
By this character we barely know.
That we met like 5 minutes ago. And then he goes and finds the 2 and he's like, take a boat.
Yeah, he runs up with them and he goes, go take a boat, go down the river, you gotta go past the mountain. And then basically he goes, beats the shit out of like 20 guards, but they also beat the shit out of him.
And then he almost gets killed.
He almost gets killed, but manages to get on a boat. And he follows them up the river, but they're also getting chased by guards. But they make it onto land, run through the forest where a bunch of dudes show up and kill all the shadow guards.
Yeah, all the shadow guards are killed, and oh boy. Yeah, and then Nick Cage shows up finally.
He shows up once again, the best character in the movie.
And I had to write down a line because as we saw, Anakin being very woozy waking up as he was probably knocked out. And then Nick Cage delivers this great line of, thick as flies on a goat's farting ass.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
I was like, awesome. Awesome, Nick. What a delivery.
Very epic. Very cool.
Very epic.
He also saves our boy Anakin, even though Nick isn't very happy about it. Where we kind of
he was like, what are you doing here?
Get the fuck out of here. We learn...
I bailed your ass out once. I'm not doing it again.
We learn about kind of what happened at the battle that day. Because Nick Cage thinks that Anakin killed all those kids. And then Anakin's like, that's right, I did, and I'll do it again. Because the Jedi are evil.
Those kids at the temple. Because one of them called me a master, and I'm not.
But no, the reality is, when at the battle, as they're storming the place, and when Anakin enters the room, the women kill their children, and then they killed themselves. And that made him very upset. But Nick Cage thought that it was actually Anakin that killed them.
Anakin that did it. And then he just takes, and then Nick's just like, yeah, I'm gonna believe that.
Because I'm drunk and you're high on opium. But then, of course, the brother, he learns about where they are hiding, and they go up there. So Nick Cage and Anakin have to prepare to take them all on at their secret mountain hideout.
Mm-hmm.
And it works okay. They kill a lot of guards, but it's all really for naught. Because eventually Nick Cage goes out, and I assumed he was going to sacrifice himself to let the others escape.
But they
But
just kind of stay there.
I guess there was nowhere really to hide, I guess. I assumed it was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's probably like a tunnel on like the other side of the mountain. And I checked the runtime, I was like, oh, wait, there's like 15 minutes left. I think we're going to get into our climax like right now.
Yeah, no, they just stay like in the back of the cave, I guess, and then just kind of stick there.
Yeah, but then they come out where the brother comes. Instead of just killing them outright, right then and there at that very moment, uh, pretty much, I lost my train of thought. Goddamn. But instead of killing at that moment, the brother's just like, I'm gonna fight you to the death.
1v1 me, baby.
Except not really, because near the end of the fight, when the brother starts to lose, the Anakin gets shot like twice.
Yep.
Which is then when the sister pulls out like the blade that the brother had that earlier in the movie he killed the father with. And then
it all comes around.
It all does all come around. But basically, then the one guy that we keep talking about that's not important but he's like, if anyone fires another arrow, I will kill you where you stand.
Oh yeah.
And then like the brother's defense, the sister went to stab him, so then he had to stab her.
So like they both cheated in a way.
Yeah. And then Anakin suddenly develops superpowers despite getting stabbed like 20 times for the last like 24 hours.
Because he has force healing, okay?
It's because of the power of love.
And the power of love, yes.
Power of love. He basically beats the shit and kills the older brother. He dies.
And then they all quickly turn and believe in Zhao.
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone around versus
They're like,
Zhao.
Here is our new king, Simba. Oh, I mean Zhao.
Yeah. Oh, and you know how Leanne gets stabbed and probably should die, and also Anakin is probably near death and should die. Well, they don't die. They live.
They don't die. They're all right.
They just get up. 'Tis just a flesh wound.
'Tis but a scratch.
And they get up, and then good end. Well, not really. Jacob continues traveling, but the prince is king now. And that's kind of the whole movie.
That's basically the movie.
Basically, they walk around, do some fighting, and then Nick Cage shows up twice.
Yeah, Nick Cage shows up, and then, yeah.
Yeah, the lack of Nick Cage was actually a real disappointment, honestly. I was really expecting he'd be in it more. Considering he's like one of the two main like faces on there.
And he's, literally on the cover, so. But I guess it was one of those things probably where they're like, all right, we're this just not well-known production company. How do we get someone to watch our movies? Oh, here we go. Put Nicolas Cage in the front, even though he's in it for like 5 minutes.
You know, to be fair, he's in it for like 10 minutes. We do get some nice screams in there, though.
As Nick Cage is always known well for.
There's not really too much I can say. Fight scenes were kind of neat, I guess, but it's the really awkward cuts every like 10 seconds. Or every like 2-second cuts.
Yes. The like very Michael Bay quick editing.
Of anything.
Wonderful.
I guess the sets were neat.
It looks like some points it looks nice. Like it doesn't look all fake and all that. It looks real, you could say. Like they look like they're out in like a foresty, woodsy area.
Like the big flaw with this movie really is that if you take out, like, swap out Nick Cage and Hayden Christensen with just random average actor movie guy, there's nothing really to this movie. Yeah, just swap them out to two random male actors you never heard of. This would just be another kind of boring action movie. The only reason why this has like any acknowledgement is because Nick Cage and Hayden Christensen's in it. Because if they weren't in it, then this film would really just have nothing to really stand on.
It would not have anything.
It just would be this
just
forgettable...
a lot of shitty acting generic
bland,
action.
uninteresting movie, really. Like something you'd see on like Amazon Prime if you scroll down low enough in like the
Like
action
one of
tab.
the like one of those weird like streaming only original movies.
Yeah, kind of something like that. There's not too much to really add about it. It's just here's these
Mm-hmm.
two recognizable actors, and then this really forgettable kind of movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Got anything you got to say about Outcast?
I don't think so. I
Think we kind of really covered it all.
Yeah. Okay. So now we've talked about the movies. Which one do you prefer, Ninja Jedi?
Which one is the better of the
The better
two?
movie. That's what I mean. You know what I meant.
This is actually kind of a tough one for me, because one's like really forgettable and uninteresting, and the other one's like really bad but has like some genuine good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I pick the mediocre, generic, forgettable film that isn't really that bad or good, or I choose the bad film that has like a couple actually interesting things in it? Um, Give me like a minute. I thought it over. It was a tough call, but I think I'm gonna give it overall to Outcast.
Okay.
It's really forgettable. I think this might be currently, as of this episode, thinking over, this might be our worst combo movies we have, because none of these films
Yeah.
are particularly interesting. But I guess I would pick the blandness with a little bit of flavor over the mostly awful. But hey, this bread they got on the side's pretty good. That is the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna give it to Outcast begrudgingly.
I would honestly have to say Outcast too.
All right. Well, I guess that's another W for you, because you only recommend good movies like some loser.
Like you said, this was not a good set of movies we had this week.
Well, I think I would argue Star Wars is probably Holiday Special is more interesting to talk about. Outcast is by default probably the better film.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess with that out of the way, we could now move on to questions.
Questions.
Question
Yay.
time.
Pizza time.
Yep, pizza time. So we got 3 questions. Our first one comes from Mattias. With 2022 wrapping up, what have been some of your favorite theatrical movie experiences of the year? I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Because we kind of answered a question kind of similar to what some great movie theater experiences we have. But it might be cool to kind of talk about stuff from like this year specifically.
I've never really... I mean, I've never had like crowd audiences like getting up and like cheering and all that. I've never had that. But some of my favorite movies experience in the theater has been seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once both times. And especially when we get to like that climax part and just how amazing it's played out. It was one of the most fun experiences for me there.
I think
that's one.
A couple for me. Oh, yeah. We can just swap back and forth. So seeing Jackass Forever in a theater, that was fun. It was great.
I wish I did, but no one wanted to see it with me, so
should have gone by yourself.
I should have.
I went with friends. Luckily, we had a great time. It was fun going, like groaning in pain, or whenever someone got hurt with the audience. Oh, it's fun.
I gotta check the list of movies I've seen in the theater this year.
I'm looking through mine.
Seeing Terrifier 2 in the theater was actually kind of fun, actually.
I didn't see Terrifier 2 in a theater.
I was honestly shocked with how big the crowd was, but then I'm like, okay, it is kind of a more... It was like early October when they did like their limited horror movie release, so like what else to see in October other than
a horror movie?
And it was, and like I remember just seeing it like streaming before on streaming. That's how I saw it before, and then obviously I kind of wanted to go in and like support a crowdfunded indie horror movie, and I think I got my money's worth. It was a fun experience. It wasn't like the best movie ever, but it was a pretty fun movie experience just to see all of the insane kills that happen, even if the movie's way too long at 2 hours and 18 minutes.
I've already told the story when we answered the question, but I did see The Unbearable Weight of Successful Talent, I think.
Massive Talent,
Yeah, of Massive
the
Talent.
Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, I was the only person in the theater when I watched that. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know. I can easily list off films I saw in theaters that was thought fun to watch. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I saw that in theaters. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Uh,
Um, I did see Glass Onion in the theater this past Tuesday, the Knives Out movie.
yeah, I know what you're talking
That
about.
was a yeah, that was a nice crowd. Like obviously there was some more in like the funny scenes you heard people laughing around. They were very it seemed like they were very into the movie, which is a pretty fun experience, especially in those murder mysteries when you're trying to figure out who done it and
All that fun
figuring
stuff.
out the twists that come out here and there.
I smuggled a burger into the Bob's Burger movie.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty fun time. I don't know. I don't really have too much super cool theater
I have
experiences.
one more I just remembered. This isn't exactly a theater experience, but on Memorial Day weekend, my dad, brother, and I we went to a drive-in theater that's like 45 minutes to like an hour away from where I live, and we saw Top Gun Maverick there.
Oh, nice. I also
And when
saw
we like
Top Gun Maverick with my dad, actually. I should say that too. That was pretty fun.
nice, yeah, and when you get to like, because you gotta like hook up your car to like the radios there to get the audio in your car and all that if you want to go in there instead of outside when and getting bit by mosquitoes. But both ways, like when you get to hear that audio, just like the sound design in that movie, it was kind of cool to hear that, especially outside too. That was a pretty fun one.
I think the only other thing of interest, well, I guess two. I went to the Regal Mystery Movie night that they had. Both of them had two so far, and I got to watch The
Okay.
Greatest Beer Run Ever and Spirited, which are both just 3 out of 10 movies. But my favorite experience was after watching Spirited was reading all the reviews on Letterboxd about it, and everyone being really mad that it wasn't The Fablemans. That was really fun to read through. So thank you, Spirited. You gave me a slight amount of entertainment from that alone.
Thanks, Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Oh, I guess another neat little theater story is I saw this random, I think Vietnamese film called The Ancestral, which is like a horror movie. It's kind of
Okay.
like a Blumhouse film in a sense. I call that in my review. But there was a
Okay.
family of Vietnamese family that showed up to the movie and watched it in the back row, and they liked it. So I'm happy for
Huh.
them. They got to experience a Vietnamese film in a theater.
But did you like it? That's the opinion that matters.
I gave it like a 3 out of 10. It wasn't like the worst thing.
Okay.
I try to be very respectful. I try not to like laugh at anything, which is kind of what I usually do when I watch these rando horror films in theaters. And I was successful except for one part where I bursted out laughing. But I thought it was very funny scene. So, sorry.
Okay.
I tried my best. I did better than the fucking two teenage girls in front of us that kept fucking talking.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
fuck those guys. They
Fuck
left
anyone
like
that
halfway
like
through the movie though, so
talks
it
at
was
room
fine.
volume in a theater. Also, fuck anyone whoever's like on their phone and like have like their flashlight on. That's also annoying.
Oh, another annoying experience. I saw The Fifth Element in a theater because it was like the 30th, fifth anniversary or
Oh
something.
yeah, that
And
like
someone brought their
25th.
fucking baby with them. Oh,
You
and the baby
bring
wasn't quiet.
Oh, of course.
That
But
sucked.
you bring your fucking baby to the Fifth Element. Were they too lazy to hire a babysitter, probably?
It is annoying.
Yeah, that sounds annoying.
I think that's it for that question. Unless
Okay.
you got any more experiences. Next one comes from Robert, which is shocked. This question hasn't came up yet. Favorite movies or TV series? Like movies that we love specifically, not just like
Yeah.
bad ones. Because we've answered favorite bad movies before. Let's talk
Yeah,
about good
honestly,
movies.
some of my favorite movies I would say is well like in my letterbox favorites I got like Under the Skin, John Carpenter's The Thing is an amazing one. I do quite love American Psycho, and Patrick Bateman is definitely just totally me.
Now, oh my god, he's literally me.
He's me.
Ring off a
Oh,
couple off my list. 12 Angry Men. That's a classic.
yes, it's a
Almost
good one.
Famous is really, really good.
I remember seeing it and I liked it.
I thought it was amazing. I gave it a
I'll have
10.
to rewatch that again.
I loved Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. I think that's a really good movie.
I have that watch listed,
My
so definitely gonna.
personally favorite movie of all time at the moment now is Mommy by Xavier Dolan.
Oh, that's another one.
That one's really good. It's easy to list off all like my favorite, like Ran by Akira Kurosawa. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dancer in the Dark by Lars van Trier. Dear Zachary, that's my favorite documentary ever made. I think that's amazing. I think everyone should watch it. Uh, I know this might be a bit cheating, but recently, a guilty pleasure, a new guilty pleasure of mine that I enjoy, Deathstalker 2.
Deathstalker 2.
Deathstalker 2. I'll give you a bit of a taste. Right before the opening happens, where Deathstalker does the cool thing and gets away, the bad guy goes, "I'll have my revenge," and Deathstalker 2. And then the title card shows. Very epic.
I'm just looking at like a few others I got too, if I can list them off. Denis Villeneuve's Enemy has become a favorite of mine also, especially upon rewatches and trying to develop like all these little interpretations and ideas of what the movie's going for is also amazing. The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski.
And then if we're going like trilogies, Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy is obviously a favorite of mine. And then there's this one French trilogy, the Three Colors trilogy that I watched last year that was amazing.
I've been meaning to watch that. Like
I'm probably gonna revisit those sometime.
I think it's getting a 4K in the coming months by Criterion, so maybe I'll pick it up then, and then I can watch them.
Yeah, they're good. They're good movies.
Yeah. I also love Polyester, a John Waters film. I think that's amazing. Recommend it. How about any TV shows?
TV show? I'm a little more normie in that sense, but like a couple of my favorite
casual
shows. But like some of my favorite shows have been like The Office. I like Parks and Rec more though, I'll be honest. But one that I'm definitely gonna start getting into. I watched the first episode like a month ago and gotta finish up the rest of it. But The Bear on Hulu, I'm starting to get into now. And BoJack Horseman, I also really loved.
Yeah, a good number of those shows are actually like on the list of things I need to watch. Some for me, I'm a huge Survivor guy. I watched most of the seasons. I still have
Judd.
Yeah, Judd.
Judd.
But I still need to finish season 34. I gotta get through seasons 37 through 40, and season 43 is gonna be finishing up soon. Because 2 episodes, there's 1 episode, and then the finale left for season 43, so that's finishing up soon. But yeah, that's a show I like. I can probably recommend some seasons from that to you, because, I like it. I like Survivor. I'm a fucking slut for reality TV competition show like that. Smiling Friends, that's a pretty great show.
Yes, I forgot about Smiling Friends.
Here's another one you forgot. Nathan For You.
I have that one watch listed.
Oh, that's really great. Really funny. You should watch it. I need to finish it.
I have that one in the rehearsal also.
Yeah, I need to finish Nathan For You so I can move on to the rehearsal. Not sure other big TV shows I'm into. Those are just the main ones that come to mind. SpongeBob, the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, those always slap.
Classics.
The classic episodes.
I'm trying to think of other shows. I mean, if we're talking about like even like favorite childhood shows too, could talk about like Fairly Odd Parents. Oh god, what else came in my mind? Codename Kids Next Door.
And those are some good ones.
Because of YMS talking about it, I remember watching some of it before, but The Amazing World of Gumball is pretty great. Regular Show's really good.
All bangers. Every single one. I guess with that question seems to be answered, so move on to our final question from Pawn. Favorite genuine great moments in god-awful movies? Well, as we talked about previously, the cartoon and the Star Wars Holiday Special, that's pretty good. And I personally think the bar scene's genuinely good in that as well.
Yeah, we're not on the same page on that.
Yeah, well, that's because you're wrong.
And I'm just like, well, that's like your opinion, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the Big Lebowski.
The Big Lewinsky.
That's a completely different movie.
Nope, same way that Derek said it. Same movie, just different ways that Derek said it.
Any other other ones other than the
Uh,
obvious things? The airplane scenes and Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
yes.
Those are pretty good. We can just list off things that are generally
Any
good from all our stuff that we watched.
any scene really in The Happening with Mark Wahlberg specifically?
I haven't
Like you
seen
get
The
that
Happening, so I'm just gonna take you at face
there's
value.
there's just a hilarious scene where there's like this old lady on her porch and Mark Wahlberg's like staring at her. She's like, "Why you eyeballing my lemon drink?" Even though she's clearly drinking lemonade. Or she's like staring at him from like the bottom of the stairs. She's going, "Are you guys planning on stealing from me?" "No, ma'am, we're not." "Planning on murdering me in my sleep?" "What? No." That whole movie's just great.
Yeah, let me scroll through. I'm scroll through all my bad movie lists, see if I can list off some more.
Mm,
I know it's a bit hard to
the
really.
ending scene in Saw Spiral, you could say,
Oh yeah, very epic.
that with the great Hello Zep overture playing, but then you get this like scared, terrified face of Chris Rock before the scene cuts to the end credits.
And then Samuel L. Jackson gets fucking blasted.
He gets blasted by these cops because they're like, "My guns." And anyway, I started blasting. Pow, pow.
I guess a random film I'm gonna name drop. Even though I might recommend. No. I might want to recommend this one day. I'm gonna keep this one in my back pocket because this is something that needs to be experienced blind.
Oh, God. I just remember another one, too. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That one line, "Mother, you're alive. Too bad you will die."
Got him.
That's a great part.
I guess another like genuine good moment. I guess in a film Megan is Missing, there's the
Oh, my
fucked up
God.
pictures at the end, which, you know, in a sense is effective showing, hey, fucked up shit. Oh my god. Though I know some
Wow.
people take it going like, what's up with this? Is this like a director's fetish thing? The movie's awful, but it's got like that.
Possible recommendations sometime soon?
Maybe. Why not?
Maybe.
There is a bit of interesting backstory stuff to talk about with Megan is Missing, actually, that I wouldn't mind mentioning.
Ooh. And how
It's,
like TikTok basically called it like the scariest movie ever.
yeah, pretty much. Got any other
So
ones?
stupid. I mean, I could probably pull up. There's like a whole list of like just great line deliveries in bad movies. Anything you could say also in like Samurai Cop also. Like that one confrontation with Joe Marshall and the nurse. That part, the "Do you like what you see? I love what I see." And then
Yeah.
his partner with like all those weird facial expressions. Yeah, you could
Uh,
definitely say anything from that.
I don't know. I think we got all our bases covered.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, that's the end of the podcast, and this is a part where we have our recommendations at the end for next episode. Cole, it's your turn to do a retro pick.
Yep.
What is the one what is your pick?
So it took me a bit because I did want to get into the festive holiday season with a bad Christmas movie. So I was like looking at like lists of all like the worst rated ones, just like worst ones ever made. I had a couple in mind, but then I was like, they might be a little too fun for some reasons. Like I was gonna do like Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, but then I was like, I saw you rated that already. So I was like, why not do one that we both haven't seen? And there's one I found from my birth year, 1998. I'll Be Home for Christmas, directed by Arlene Sanford.
Huh, I've never heard of that movie before.
I didn't either until I looked it up.
No, I'm gonna look it up.
It's got like a 2.5 letterbox score. It's got like a 5.5 IMDb rating.
Oh, now I see it. Okay, but does it have a Blu-ray? Oh, son of a bitch, it doesn't. Oh, but
No.
Disney's got its name. We're doing another Disney movie.
Disney. But yeah, it's like on Disney Plus. So release the holiday special on it, Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney.
Disney.
Well, that's your pick. It's time to do mine. I haven't said it, but we do have a special guest. Not to spoil it yet. We'll reveal at the end. But
Okay.
a long time ago, he asked us a question about when are you gonna talk about this person's movie? Well, I guess since he's coming on next episode, now would be the time to do it. So we're going to be discussing 2012's That's My Boy, starring Adam Sandler. Be
I
careful
was
what you
expecting
wish.
one of those. Okay, I will spoil it right away, but the movie I thought you were going to do was Pixels, and I had a really good intro setup for that, but
No,
now I have to change it up.
nope. There is a specific reason why I want to talk about this one, but I'll talk about it in the episode.
I think I know why.
No, you don't. I
Do
can
I?
guarantee you that you do not know the reason why.
Okay, I'll wait for that.
Yeah, trust me, you will not know it. When I say it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't know it." That's what's gonna happen.
But yes, we do have a guest then.
Yeah, from Far Off Films podcast,
The
our
biggest
mortal
weeb you
enemies,
probably know.
and he has another channel that I don't remember, and I feel like a dick, but he can just plug it in the episode he's
Kim
on.
Jong-un Productions.
That's the one. It's Timmy.
Timmy Lee.
Timmy Lee. Timmy Lee, who was wondering when the hell would we discuss an Adam Sandler film. Well,
And you're
Timmy,
gonna get it.
be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Damn.
Anyway, if you don't want to get spoiled for I'll Be Home for Christmas or That's My Boy, how about watching those films in advance? And if you have any questions for us, or Timmy for that matter, want to rag on him with your questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Have a good day and have a happy Morbius.
Happy Puss in Boots. Happy Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Happy Life Day.
Happy Outcast.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.